What's up guys, Artem MMA Analysis here, going to be talking about Alexander Gustafsson's return again. I feel like I have talked about Alexander Gustafsson making a return at least a couple of times on my channel now. The first one was actually against Ben Rothwell, which was quite weird I think, because he was actually booked to fight Ben Rothwell, and then Ben Rothwell was dropped from the UFC, and I feel like we haven't really gotten too much information as to why or what's going on. If you know about that situation, let me know. But it's weird that he is booked to fight Ben Rothwell, and now Ben Rothwell has been released from the UFC. But hey man, at least we get another fight, and it's worth noting that Alexander Gustafsson's going to be taking on Nikita Krylov, and he's going to be taking on him in the light heavyweight division. In my opinion, I feel like this isn't the greatest fight for Alexander Gustafsson to make a return, considering the fact that he hasn't really won a fight in about 5 years now. I know that sounds pretty disrespectful, but he just hasn't really been fighting very often since then anyway. But he does have the win over Glover Teixeira, the current light heavyweight champion, and he's got a win over Jan Blachowicz, the former light heavyweight champion. Great wins that have aged very well. Since then he did lose to John Jones, and then he did lose to Anthony Smith, who's like a top 10, top 5 fighter right now in the light heavyweight division. And then he did lose to Fabricio Werdum in his heavyweight debut, which he weighed in at 240 pounds. It's definitely worth noting that he's been kind of talking about a return since that fight for a while now. Now he's going to be taking on Nikita Krylov, who, yes, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but I would still consider Nikita Krylov to be like an up-and-coming light heavyweight. He's still a young guy. He's a lot younger than Alexander Gustafsson. He's fought a lot more often than Alexander Gustafsson. He's fought 5 times in 3 years. Alexander Gustafsson has fought twice in 3 years. And he does have a split decision loss to Glover Teixeira. He beat Johnny Walker by decision. He did lose to Paul Craig only about a month ago, but before that he was ground and pounding Paul Craig pretty heavy. In fact, at one point it almost looked like Paul Craig was knocked out. So hey, he didn't have a bad performance against Paul Craig. Let's have a look at this fight night and see who else is on it. Muhammad Makayev and Charles Johnson, that's pretty good. Maybe Krylov and Gustafsson's the main event. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is going to be a 5-round main event. I feel like Gustafsson's definitely a big enough name to main event a fight night card at this point still, in a big return. But Gustafsson's going to enjoy a little reach advantage and a size advantage in this one. He is pretty big for light heavyweight. He's 6'5" with a 79-inch reach. Nikita Krylov, though, very well-rounded game in my opinion. I picked him to lose against Paul Craig. A lot of people were in my comments kind of talking about how that's a terrible pick and how Paul Craig was going to lose, and it almost looked bad until Nikita Krylov did get submitted by Paul Craig off his back, which seems to always happen. It's kind of weird. But Nikita Krylov, from my understanding, a very well-rounded skill set. He's got a great ground game as well as a great stand-up game as well. Alexander Gustafsson, mostly known for those 2 fights against John Jones, more so the first one, where he actually posed a decent threat to John Jones as well, and a lot of people were very surprised by his performance in that fight there. I am going to be honest, I think I will be picking Nikita Krylov to win this one here. I feel like Alexander Gustafsson, if he was to make a return to 205, I really would have preferred to see him fight like one of the winners of the winner of maybe like OSP versus Shogun Hua or something. I know like that would have been probably a big step down in competition, but Alexander Gustafsson has not fought for about 2 years now, and even then he lost to Fabricio Werdum at heavyweight, and since then, you know, like he just hasn't really. He needs a comeback fight, I feel like, that would be very winnable for him, and I don't think Nikita Krylov's that guy. I think Nikita Krylov is actually going to beat Alexander Gustafsson in this one here. Very interesting fight, potentially the main event of the fight night. I don't know, like it wouldn't make the most sense in the world, but at the same time it kind of would, because I feel like it would still be a pretty good fight night main event, to be honest, because Gustafsson's a big name. Krylov's a pretty big name as well. People know who Krylov is. He does have good wins, such as the Johnny Walker win and the OSP win as well. I'm going to be going Krylov, not a lot of confidence. It's going to be really hard to tell how Alexander Gustafsson's going to come back, but I will be picking Krylov to win. Also worth noting, Gustafsson was, like, I think the first person to ever take down John Jones, which is pretty crazy as well.